Hello lovely friends, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. It's the 1st of September. Oh my goodness. It's incredible. It's like a little switch has been flicked and this morning we woke up and it's autumn. I'm not ready to let go of summer. I do feel like I missed the summer this year. Partly because of not being out here as much as I'd want to be, but also partly because it's been so grey and wet this year. Never mind. So, we're going to go and have a look in the garden in a sec, have the September tour. It's only 2 weeks and 1 day, 2 weeks and 1 day since I did the August tour. And I was thinking, I'll get on with doing some work before I do the tour. I thought, no, let's get back on track. Let's get back to doing it on the 1st of the month. So there's still quite a lot to do. But what I hope you'll see as we go around is that in the last couple of weeks, I have had a bit of a push to just reclaim the garden a bit. Just get on with some of those more pressing jobs. And sort out my paths and edges. I couldn't stand it a second longer. Now, in the last 2 weeks, apart from 1 day, I haven't had great chunks of time for the garden. But what I've done, and it's my advice to any of you who might be in a similar sort of pickle to me, is I've just literally, even if it's only 1 hour, grab an hour, grab 2 hours, get down here and do one job. Just really focus one job. For example, lift the onions. On the day I lifted the onions, I didn't even have time to properly put them into the drying rack. Doesn't matter. That will be the next time I've got 1 hour down here. By the way, they are still, can you see that? Yeah, you can. They are still in the drying rack, but I've trimmed the majority of the dry foliage off now, so they've now got about that much left on, just while those necks finish drying and tightening. But I needed to get rid of it because I've got another harvest to do, which is going to hang underneath. It's getting busy in here. Anyway, yes, so that's been the way it's gone for the last 2 weeks. Grab an hour, grab 2 hours, and then a couple of days ago, the paths and the edges are doing my head in, the weeds have been doing my head in. So I said, you know what, give yourself a full day. Give yourself a full day, have a couple of ideas in mind of jobs to do, but just do the jobs that catch your eye, that take your fancy, that sort of thing. And when I say a full day, I was probably down here for about 7 hours. Obviously, I don't work for the full 7 hours. I do a bit, I sit a bit. I do a bit, I sit a bit. I can manage it that way. But as we go around now, hopefully you'll be able to see where there has been quite a bit of work going on. Like I say, still plenty to do, but at least I've got my paths and edges back. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at the garden on the 1st of September, 2 weeks and a day since the last tour you saw. Do you know what? Maybe put me on pause now and go and have a look at that tour, the August tour again. And then hopefully you'll see what I mean. But back to that thing, sorry, just to say very quickly before we go out. Suddenly it feels like autumn today. Where has summer gone? You can definitely see it in the garden because plants are losing their colour. Well, some are losing their colour and some are gaining colour. You'll see what I mean. Right, come on. So there is still a little bit of colour in the garden by way of the little cosmos and verbena on the end here. And oh my goodness, the calendula. If you remember, I think it was about the middle of August, this got an absolute hammering by the rain. You can see it's been flattened nearly. And wow, I am so late to this job. You can see masses of seed heads rather than flowers. So this is a priority. You see there's tons of new growth down there, so I'll be doing a big harvest both for flowers and seeds, cutting it right back and hopefully that will encourage another flourish of flowers. In front, the parsnips, all those ones are transplanted. I mean, they're all alive. I don't think they've massively grown when you compare them with the ones over here that I left in situ. We'll see. I'll have to wait till winter. The rock and coal bed is, oh my goodness, well and truly over. Even where I still had some yellow pods, they were quite tough, so I'm leaving all of them for dried beans now. There was, I think I was mentioning in another video, there was no point in getting myself stressed and trying to find something fresh to pick and eat in here. Just leave the whole lot to go to dry. One thing I don't want to leave to dry is all the beautiful chickpeas, because if I leave these to dry, the mice will have them. So I really want to get on with harvesting them while they're green. Yeah, that needs to be in the next week or so. A couple of them have really gone over and dried. You can see one here and then one there. I'll rescue what I can. Look at the Portuguese cabbage. Isn't that gorgeous? That's the Cove Tontuda. Yum, yum, yum. I mean, each leaf is massive. Each leaf is going to be a meal for me. Fantastic. I absolutely love my brassicas. Ooh, and this is really exciting. Just coming the other way. Finally. Do you see what's happening down here? I'm getting ripening in my orange bell peppers. Hello, you in there. Oh, look at you with your orange shiny bottom. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, lovely. It's so lovely to see these colouring up now. I've got to say, I have lost loads this year. I don't know whether to SARGs or what, but I would say I've lost about half of them. So the ones I have got, precious, fantastic. That one in there is, oh, it's so perfect. Just want you to turn orange, lovely one. I've got a few beetroot left. I've been having these away. Oh my goodness. Look at the size of that one. Look, here's my hand. Oh, and that one. Monsters. Oh, that's a whole meal. Well, actually, that's 4 portions of soup. But yeah, down to the last few. I was thinking about sowing a few more in here. But actually, because we've been quite dry for the last 2 weeks, I decided against it because I just cannot guarantee being down here to water. And if I put new seed in, well, it would almost certainly need watering every day, and that is just not going to happen with me at the moment. Look at the beautiful chard. Oh, I never ever tire of chard. The beautiful bright red, and then this gorgeous, oh so vibrant yellow. I mean, look, gorgeous. Why on earth wouldn't you? Yeah, that will happily keep me going all winter and into next spring. Every single plant is just, it's just beautiful. Beauty, beauty, beautiful. Squeaky, squeaky, beautiful. Yum, yum, yum. Such an easy plant. Love it. If you remember when I sowed these, I just sowed 3 or 4 seeds into each little module. Didn't thin, just bunged out each little sort of module's worth in a clump. And they've done great. Next door, now talking of watering, I might give all of these another drop of water. These are the purple sprouting broccoli that I finally got in after taking out my, after finally taking out my new potatoes. So pleased to get them in. I'll sit quite happily like this for a few weeks. In the meantime, I will look for material to mulch the bed with, and then when they're about a foot tall and the cabbage white butterflies have disappeared, the nets will come off and each individual plant will get a really, really sturdy stake for me to tie it up to. And that'll be in a few weeks' time though, and I really do need to start looking for something to mulch with. The main crop potatoes, goodness me, these will be coming out soon during September. These will come out, or possibly just into October, depending on my, time scale. Oh, let me just duck under this overhanging buddleia again. Yeah, depending on the time scale, September or just into October. Whip these out and get my garlic in. You know, once the garlic is in, just have to think about this. Look at the rest of the garden. Yeah, once the garlic is in, that's the planting done for 2021. Over here, this is the Cavallo Nero, and you can see I've really I wonder if you can get an idea of how tall that is now. I've really raised these hoops up quite a bit. I didn't have enough hoops to put one in the middle where it was sagging. So all I've done is, there's a sort of bean cane with a yoghurt pot on the top so it don't poke through the Enviromesh. But yeah, they're looking great. And definitely starting to harvest. Oh, yum. Oh, and just to say as well, oh, you can see I've done my paths, can't you? My paths and my edges. So much better. Fantastic. Yay. Yay for a neat path. You know, I know it might sound daft to other people, but it was so utterly distracting for me. It was well worth doing. Because now it's done, yay, just get on with everything else. Okay, the celery has been okay. You see, some of it's yellowed a bit. I think it's been stressed because it got a bit dry. So, it's kind of mad, but I think I'm going to have to start thinking about watering again. Ay, caramba. This little lot's been so productive. I've got some more courgette flowers coming, but amongst it all, that is a black futsu. There is another one, where is it? It's down there. And there's another one just down in there. They've gone crazy. I thought this must be a sweet dumpling, because I've got a sweet dumpling next to the black futsu. However, I think that's is that attached to the black futsu, or because I think the sweet dumpling is the one that's gone over there and has taken up. Oh, I need to get to my leeks. Oh, and I just saw another black futsu down in there somewhere. I really only have half an idea about what's going on with all my squash this year. Yay! I like a surprise, as long as it's a good surprise. So, yes, you remember in the August tour, this had the last of my tomatoes in, so obviously they came out. And what I've done is I've done a bit, like for instance with the kale bed, the nets came off, the hoops were lifted, nets go back on, but at the same time, any weeding that was needed, what have you, but also around each bed and its mud path, where I've done a new bed, I've tried to weed that particular path. So for example, sorry, swinging you around again, this path got weeded and taken care of when I did the purple sprouting broccoli. And coming back this way, this path and this path, a bit of weeding when I did these next two lots of plantings. If I was to try to think about weeding the whole garden in one go, it's just too much. It's really, really overwhelming. So literally, tend to a bed and a path. Session done. Great. Obviously this is all cleared, and now I can start just piling up grass trimmings, compost, barely composted, whatever, on this bed, because this bed will now be fallow all winter. Okay, you've seen this in the brassica update, but this is my calibres, couple of rows there. And you remember I had shade netting. This is on the Savoys. I did have the hooped shade netting, and I thought, right, I didn't want shade netting. I knew I had some more Enviromesh, but not hooped like this. So I was going to make some hoops. I had nothing to make them with. So all I've done is lay it over the plants with a bit of space for the plants to push up. And I have Paul to thank for this, because this is exactly what he did on his brassica bed, and it has worked a treat. They've grown beautifully. So yeah, if it's good enough for our Paul, it's good enough for me. Oh, just let's have a moment. Oh, look at the path, look at the edge. Oh, that's so much better, isn't it? Oh, okay, so that's all new and improved since the August tour. Also, since the August tour, the last of the tomatoes came out from here, the Amish post in Walls de Bern. Plants destroyed, taken away from the site. All the poles taken out, cleaned, put away for next year. Need to do a bit of weeding. That will come at another point. Now, how are the beans doing? Oh, it's getting really dark suddenly. We can actually have some rain, who knows? But look, can you see? They're starting to yellow. Starting to get to the end of the season. So on this side, it's the Cocoa Sophie, and all the lower ones I will begin to harvest because they're nice and fat. And then as we go up the plant, you'll see they're still quite green and they're not quite as fat. So that's another job for this week with all the beans, is to harvest all the lower ones. Get them podded, get them frozen. But because of, gigantes, because it has been a relatively cool, wet summer, the beans have loved it this year. So much better than last year. I mean, look, dripping, dripping, dripping. I love this site. Yes. Also, do you remember? Gosh, it's only 2 weeks ago, but for the August tour, we had that lovely shot of the flowers against a blue sky. Oh, not today. But yeah, plenty beans. Must start picking and podding and freezing. This is disappointing. Paprika peppers. That's beautiful. Oh, you are a beauty. But again, I have lost loads. I think I've lost another couple there. I think I've lost more than half in this bed. There's hardly a fruit left. I've never known my peppers getting eaten before. Oh, what a shame. You know, that's what happens when it's a wet summer, the sogs are out in force, and I'm not here to trap them. I will have to just make sure I enjoy every single one that is there. And I think the great thing about peppers is, you know, in order to save the seeds doesn't mean we have to sacrifice eating, because of course we eat them, we take the seeds out anyway. So these will all be eaten, and I think that one, which is my best one, that can be my seed saver. Yum, yum, yum. I just can't get over how many have been scoffed. So disappointing. Never mind. We win some, we lose some. This is looking like a bit of a winner. This is the Muscat de Provence, I beg your pardon. And it's got, somewhere in here, it's got a sister plant. Oh, Oh. Is that... Right, let me just try and point out. You see here, amongst the cucumbers, yes, I think that's the sister plant has put a fruit out. Good-o. Jolly good. Yeah, they're happily taking over the whole garden. And then on this side, this lot of squash, it's sweet dumpling. Some of them, there's a couple here. They found their way over here. Lovely sweet little things. There's another. Honestly, I can hardly... Is that... Oh no, I think I've just... In there, we'll come on the other side. I think I've just spotted a delicata. Oh, and on the end, we'll go around that side. I can see some Jack Be Littles. So... Oh! Celery seed. Yes. Look, you see how it's brown? That's ripe. That seed needs picking. Must remember. So the bit of black footsie that I did manage to get trained, there's one, and there's another. Oh, and what are you? Just next to it. I don't know what you are. Where have you come from? Oh, you could be anything. Who knows? I certainly don't. But what I was just spotting through here... Oh yeah, there's a few. These are the Jack Be Littles. And you can see one's hanging there. And I'm just looking through this side behind the cuke frame. Yay! Can you see? Some delicata. Dinky delicatas. Oh, and I just saw another one in... Where is it? Just... I don't think you can see it just down there. It really is going to be an autumn surprise, isn't it? And, let me just back out this way a little bit, because I was being attacked by, these are the Madeira maroon beans. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of bean picking and podding to do. Load of runners. Oops. A bit of collapse. I did try some remedial work, but everything is just collapsing. But they're beautiful, aren't they? I absolutely adore the sight of borlotti beans growing. Look, aren't they gorgeous? Still not very fat yet, but these will stay on if if the structures hold up until October. These will stay on all the way through now to dry on the plants. The Churchill Blacks. Oh, look, gorgeous. I've earmarked my seed saving plant. The rest of these will be picked and podded and frozen. It's just a mass and enjoyed. Yum. Right, okay, just while we're on this path, because I think it's going to be the easiest way to look. The squash bed, the horizontal squash, 2 beds of butternuts, and in here there's a rouge there, somewhere over there and at the far side. But I'm just starting to notice, where did I spot you? Oh yeah, the butternut. Oh, there's a couple of butternuts there, a couple more here, and there's a nice big one in there. I did the other day, before I was cutting my grass edges, I did have a little bit of a look for all my squash, because if they were right against the edge of the path, you're a beauty. Yeah, if they were right against the edge of the path, I wanted to move them a bit so I didn't risk strimming them. And then, we're not going to be able to see from here, but there's an absolute stonking massive butternut in there. Yay! Oh, happy days, happy days. Oh, and another little baby on its way there. I don't know how big you're going to get before we start getting too cold for you. But like the beans, these will all stay. I won't do anything with the squash until, middle of October. Hello butternuts. Oh my goodness, it's so lovely to just accidentally find them. Can you see? Oh, in there. That's a big one. Oh, and I've just spotted another one down in there. Oh. Yay! So the thing is, I leave them on the vines to ripen as long as possible. So long as we don't have a threat of frost, they can stay out here for ages and ages and ages. They will stay out here until pretty much the foliage will have died back completely, and there'll just be a bed of sort of dead foliage with all the lovely squash showing through. Hopefully. If, however, we get forecast a real cold snap, at that stage I will wade through, find out where all the squash are, have them off, chop up the foliage, and get the squash stored. It's just such a glorious jungle. And of course you saw the other day, it's where we go to the cold frame. Look, my rosemary. It's starting to look like a decorated Christmas tree with the nasturtiums in it. The Taunton Dean, my perennial kale. Oh, that's doing great now. I need to give it a really strong stake. Yeah, I can start harvesting from that now. It's big enough to withstand a bit of harvesting. It's a bit of a cut and come again veg, so it's literally take a leaf off and leave the plant in. But yeah, as you saw the other day, the cold frame has been cleared of seedlings, plantlets. I've weeded out all the little weeds that self-seeded in here, and I've now got these 2 squash. They're welcome to come and have a party in here, and over there, that little self-seeded cucumber. I wonder if it'll make any difference to them having their heads under glass while their feet are out there where it's a bit cooler. I've had a little bit of a tidy up on the deck. Oh, this verbena has been beautiful. Yep, I was mentioning the other day that I haven't needed to water, but of course all of these things in pots were so dry, so they're now standing in gravel trays, which is kind of ugly, but yeah, they all were desperate for a drink. The little rose cuttings, I need to give them some support and do a bit of training. And the small potted blueberry, you can really see the difference, can't you? I was saying the other day that the foliage is falling off already. This is still really green and lush. It needs a bit of untangling, and I think it's because of the pot size. So this plant is now going to go into this pot. I've got some ericaceous compost to fill it with. Oh, and you can see now the sweet peas have all been taken out. The seed pods harvested, they're in the shed drying. So I'll put my little obelisk down into this grow bag, and sweet peas can go in here next year. And another big job, as well as the calendula, I need to get my lavender harvest done and have a really good sort out in this bed, because I've noticed that there's a little bit of bindweed has come through. That's one thing. The hyssop over here, I think it's died. I mean, the whole thing is just brown and woody, so I think that's going to come out. Then this hyssop in front, I think I'm actually going to quite drastically prune it because it's squashing lavender here. The mint and marjoram have really dried out. Get them watered, bring them back to life. But yeah, just all sorts of little jobs like deadheading all the chives, harvest the lavender, prune out dead stuff, remove dead stuff. It's just that time of year, isn't it, when we start to do the tidying jobs. Oh, and just to say with the lavender, you see that the path has been trimmed and trimmed. That's because when I harvest the lavender, because the grass was up here, I don't want to harvest grass at the same time. So what I do is I come along with, I've got a big wooden board, slot it under the lavender, lift it and the lavender up, which exposes the grass, and then with 1 foot on the board, I was trying to show you, 1 foot on the board, get the path trimmed, so that when I come to harvest the lavender, yeah, it's just lavender and not grass. Yikesy, yeah, lots to do. The Coco de Pampol are looking fab. A little ways off harvest yet. And you see, this is another example where I did this quickly a couple of days ago and I came back and I redid it. And at the same time, yes, weed the path. So I came back and I've managed to lift the poles up a little bit more. I took the netting completely off. Did it need weeding? A little bit of weeding. The broad bean plants had died back. I'd harvested the pods, but the plants were still in, so plants came out, chopped up into the compost bin. Oh, I tell you what, it has been a bit of an effort, guys and gals, but oh, I'm chuffed. I'm so chuffed because apart from the garlic now, everything that I wanted to get planted and cared for in terms of the brassicas, that's all done. I've had a chance to sort my paths out, great. I've done all sorts of harvesting all over the plot apart from beans, so oh, don't they look magnificent? So bean harvesting is definitely next on the agenda. Oh, bean harvesting and flower harvesting. But in general, apart from the big flower harvests, I'm just about feeling, I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm just about feeling like I'm sort of on top of the garden again. Almost. It won't last, this feeling, because literally the minute you think you're kind of done and ready for a break, the next lot of jobs come in. Isn't it gorgeous to see all that green? Yeah, it's going a bit yellow though. I shall make the most of it while I can. Alright, my lovely people, I need to get on with some of these jobs, don't I? So I'm going to leave it there for today. Have a little walk around again now and see which job I think is the most urgent. And when I decide what that is and get stuck in, I will, of course, bring you along with me whilst I do it. But until then, please look after yourselves and happy harvesting and happy beginning to tidy our gardens up and get ready to put them to bed for the winter. See you soon, everyone. Cheerio.